Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for coming to this very special event, The Secrets of the Six Mountains. My name is Paulina, and I'm one of hundreds of people who have been speaking out on behalf of the forests through the platform of Where Do We Stand since November. I don't know if I would have done something like that on my own, but when I read the article in the Valley Voice and learned about the Where Do We Stand petition that requested public consultation and a pause of all logging in our community forests, I thought, here is an action I can take towards a better future for my daughter, who I love so much. I know the future of the forests affect her. She needs a healthy forest for a healthy life. And so I signed. I signed the petition, and many more signed the petition, and Where Do We Stand evolved from a petition to a platform where a diverse group of citizens concerned about the future of the forest could speak out. We gathered ideas, asked questions, did a lot of research, and attended council meetings. In the process, the municipality and the public began to communicate openly and respectfully, and many voices were heard. And now here we are. Here we are. Here we are, you, me, Mayor Al Sebring is here, Councillor Douglas is here, Icel+Qwiahwultuhw, our Cowichan Tribe's community leader and teacher, is here. We are gathered together once again to listen and to expand our vision. I am deeply grateful for the group of speakers that Where Do We Stand has brought together tonight. They are experts from outside North Cowichan, here to speak on a diverse range of topics, including the changing ecological, economical, and social values of the forests. All perspectives deserve to be heard, including the voice of the forest. And that is where we begin.
welcome everybody here tonight to Icel+Qwiahwultuhw, and that's the Icel+Qwiahwultuhw, into that true teaching of unity. Just welcome everybody here as one. It's one of the greatest teachings that our elders always speak of, and it has that feeling here this evening. So I thank you all for being here tonight. Icel+Qwiahwultuhw. And one of our elders had shared that there's no Icel+Qwiahwultuhw name for miracles, that there's always things that happen for a reason. And we've had many conversations, and me and Icel, and it's something that our mother always says, things happen. Doesn't matter how, sometimes how dramatic it is. And that's what my mother will always say, things happen for a reason. So, Icel+Qwiahwultuhw.
For those who lived on Stony Hill before the road came through, it was no secret that the 6 mountains were not privately owned. What we didn't know was that most people were unaware of this. By definition, a secret is not necessarily information withheld. Rather, it may simply be something unknown. If the logging ribbons had not appeared on Stony Hill, we would not be here today. Things happen for a reason.
Back in the late 80s and 90s, a friend had approached me to ask why don't you stop the logging on Zuhalem when that was happening back then. And back then I felt that I had no voice. And back then I felt that nobody would listen. Because we used to do a lot of presentations on racism. And people would come and they says, oh yeah, that's good. And then the workshop would be over. And I said, I think what's going to have to bring people together is a tsunami or an earthquake, natural catastrophe to bring people together. But I see today it's the trees that are bringing people together. Thank you.
A few weeks after learning about logging ribbons on Stony Hill, one day building with a friend, something happened. We stopped for lunch, we were talking, then we grew silent. Suddenly, out of the silence, the phone didn't ring. Suddenly, out of the silence, these words spoke. In this beautiful world, there are visionaries who may, by way of an extraordinary legacy, set a purposeful, potential course for generations. The words continued, then paused. My friend and I looked at each other, and I picked up the pen. The first story in the Valley Voice, the first forest story in the Valley Voice, wrote itself. It touched a chord. It led to Where Do We Stand, which led to the little video before the December council meeting. When it is time for change, things happen.
Things are happening today that is something that we all have to be mindful in our heart and our spirit, that things are changing in this world. And our elders always share about when the trees turn color, that is be a sign. And we see the trees turning color in many parts of the valley here, and that things are happening, things are changing. And for us to stand up together as one, and so that we can, save the trees.
At the Christmas council meeting, I heard Qwiahwultuhw speak for the first time about the forest and his love of the forest. A short while later, we were walking through a forest talking about growing up in nature when we both experienced as children the world as incomprehensible, every forest a place of solace, and every tree a mystical being. Then one day we found ourselves sharing parallel experiences from our youth that had informed our understanding of our reality, beyond form. In the moment our stories converged, we were pulled beyond all separation, gender, culture, history. Tonight, I had planned to speak about the forest in a practical manner. But then something happened. Last week, speaking in public about the forest, suddenly these words spoke. When you grow up in nature, sometimes things happen. Sometimes things break down to the breath in every cell. Afterward, I told Qwiahwultuhw how the words had taken over. It had never happened before in public. Qwiahwultuhw said,
As a 6-year-old boy, I grew up in the forest. I sat in a tree for 8 hours a day. I used to bring this plywood up to the top of this one certain tree, and I would lay in this tree, and my mother had these blankets in her laundry bin outside. I went and grabbed a blanket. And I'd go to the bus stop early in the morning, and I'd veer off into the forest, to this tree. I had my school lunch. And I knew this was a safe place, a safe haven, was in the forest and in the trees. And when I knew it was safe to come down is when I heard the town clock strike 3 times. And then I came down. And the reason that I was led to the forest, spent many hours and many days in the woods as a 6-year-old boy, was to escape my abuser. I didn't want to go to this place where it was not safe for me. And so I'd go to the trees, to the forest, and they protected me. And so I feel that in my heart, this is why I have a real passion for the forest, to save the trees, because it saved a 6-year-old boy. It saved me. So that's why I stand here tonight, to share these words with each of you. And I hope we can save these trees, because it's going to save another 6-year-old boy or a 6-year-old girl. These trees, this environment, the forest.
It is an extraordinary time to be living. Change is necessary, and most people know this. We are hitting critical mass. The forests are bringing us together. Timing is everything. It is time for what has been secret to be spoken, and for what is spoken to be heard. We are here tonight to learn about different forestry models, systems, stats, science. To educate ourselves about all possibilities is critical. To be able to hear others speak their truth, essential. But even more essential than any consultation with words, in this pause, is the willingness to open ourselves to that which is beyond words. It is widely known that there is a realm where the mind may not enter, that dimension of great inventions, revelations, visions, poetry, and all art. When we are young, our hearts may be full. When we are young, our hearts may be full and our minds empty. It is a state of being we must return to. The great teachers have reminded us to transcend ignorance. It is ignorance that has led us to the point of now or never. The human mind has had its way with the earth. Now nature has begun to raise its voice. Could the forests, winds, rain, drought speak louder? The mind is in denial. It would deny the voice of the heart, intuition, life. Still words arise. Still they grow louder. When we are listening, the greater meaning comes through. Now is the time to listen. We'll come back together again in about 3 months, we hope. We'll have another meeting like this, because this is not the end. This is just the beginning.